Who's ready?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. If this is your first time joining, I'm your host, Chad Rite. I got my two best friends here, Chili and Cornbread, and I got my little brother here with me, Blake. And at some point, we're going to have my wife in here, Lord willing. She's going to come in here and make a presentation for y'all. All right, so y'all just better be ready for that because it's going to be big. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. So it's a real treat. If you're joining live, you're going to get a real treat here in just a little bit.
I mean, it's too soon for what we all hoped, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird one.
And off the camera, we got two special guests today. We got our buddy Hal, and, of course, we got the Negro Pepe, which is he still Negro, or has he went back to Creme?
Well, he did answer last night on the text. Yeah,
he could be Blanco.
Yeah,
Blanco Pepe.
Yeah,
He's moving back in the right direction.
Yeah. He probably creme still. He's not quite Blanco.
I'm just glad he's here, man.
me too.
Yeah, we got the Proving Grounds coming up this weekend, and so we got our brother Hal here. He's a Proving Grounds instructor, and thank you for being here, Hal.
Just sitting on a toolbox.
I'll tell you what,
What's up with that?
out of everybody on the hunt this morning, I'm going to have to say it was a close tie between me and Hal on who was having the better time.
He had a blast.
I had a good time.
Well,
You
Corn,
didn't get there fast enough to have a good time.
as slow as you was getting to them trees, Corn, I just can't.
You ain't got to be Speedy
man.
Gonzalez to have a good time.
So Corn still hadn't killed a squirrel. He hasn't killed a single squirrel.
Look, bud, you ain't got to kill the squirrel.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you when you're squirrel hunting, if Blake is along with his over and under 20 gauge, ain't nobody else gonna kill a squirrel. I mean, which Hal did get one this morning.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah, you are deadly with that son of a gun.
Well, when you squirrel hunting, you got to kill the squirrel. You can't. It's hard to say like that one. We could wait on Chili and say, all right, let's let Chili have a lap.
Well, that was a 22-man shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, then you got to kill it or it knows you there. It's about to try to run off. Yeah. Get in a den.
Dive out the tree.
Yeah.
So Chili carried around a 22 pistol with him all morning. What was that thing? A Ruger
Mark II, I think. Sweet.
A Ruger Mark II 22 pistol. He didn't have a holster or nothing
that's
for
what
it.
I was about to say.
He just toted it around all morning. I think he toted it to every tree.
It was unsafe toting it that way.
You need a holster bad.
It was making Corn nervous.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for a squirrel that was just right for him. And
that was a 22-man
That
squirrel.
was a 22-man squirrel because when we squirrel hunt, we like to have a 22-man and we like to have a shotgun man. If we can shoot the squirrel with a 22, we prefer to do that because it ruins less of the meat. So we had one. I'm talking about dog tree. We get down there. That was the one on the other side of the ridge, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we get down there. I say, here's the squirrel is sitting still. He's low. It's a little, short, small tree there. And I said, okay, this is one for Chili right here.
Those sights are off. They're hitting right.
He gets over there, lines it up. Pow! Nothing.
It's hitting right.
Second shot. Pow! I think it hit the tree the second shot.
I think it's hit low and left.
Well, about that time.
Please.
Blake got fed up with it, and he went to blasting. You blasted one.
Did you miss that one?
Yeah, I missed that one.
He missed that one, and then I heard Hal sound off over there with the big 12, and
there
the squirrel came down, son. But I think Blake killed every other squirrel out there, didn't he? He killed it. You hit one this morning on a dead run. That was an impressive shot.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
That squirrel was crossing trees on a dead run, and he hit it one shot. Boom. That joker was dead. Got 5 this morning.
5 squirrels.
I mean, that was a good hunt. 5 squirrels off Taylor's Ridge, boo-boo.
Wow. We didn't go but maybe a mile and a half.
Yeah. I mean, she
miles.
was just hitting them, son. Hitting them. I think me and Hal are going to go again in the morning.
I'll feel that walk, though. We was out there for 2 hours, probably did a mile. I feel it in my legs. That squirrel hunting's hard.
Yeah.
You feel it, Corn.
Yeah, in my calves. in my calves.
You feel it.
Oh, it dang sure wasn't flat.
You feel it every time you're on the pinhoti.
Yeah, I get deep on the pinhoti every time I'm on the pinhoti.
Well,
my ancestors' land.
We got that video for you guys, which something really exciting's going on right now. We're actually restructuring the YouTube channel, and a lot of you guys, if you haven't noticed, the last few years we have a lot of fun with YouTube, but it has had very little structure to it beyond the truck talk, right? And Chili just got fed up with it, and he come in here on Monday after Monday meeting and just scolded me.
He unloaded on you,
pitched a dang fit.
But before every statement that he made on Monday, before the statement, he would say, "Now you ain't gonna like this, but here it is. I'm gonna say it." And he scolded me up and down, and I walked out of this office on Monday like
about a lot of things.
Yeah, look, I walked out of this office on Monday morning like old whoop dog, man.
And then I kicked him on the way out and said, "Get them receipts in."
Yep. I got back home. I tried to take a nap. I couldn't even take a nap. I was so worried to death about all the stuff he was scolding me over.
How long you think that had been building up with Chili? He
Years.
had been wanting to tell you that stuff for a long time.
Well, no, a year
Years,
probably.
yeah, a year.
Probably about a year. He'll wait.
Yeah, he was stewing on that. He
Yeah.
said, "Well, while we're at it, this is what's been on my heart."
Because I started the conversation by talking about, hey guys, y'all want to do this or that, and then
That went right along with what I had been thinking.
and y'all just tooted on everything that I even wanted to bring up and said, no, this is what we need to do. Blake says we're starting a nonprofit branch. Chili's got us restructuring the YouTube
Everything.
channel. Cornbread's got some work he's gonna start doing in the store. You're gonna get to see some new stuff coming. But look, man, the YouTube channel, I am really excited about this. But I went home and I couldn't even take a nap. I was so worried. Look.
Well, it all started with you telling him you wanted to give him a raise.
I know.
And then Chili just scolded you.
I know.
Yeah.
You screwed that conversation up, Chili.
No, I
You should
didn't.
not have did that. You should have
No, I
said,
didn't.
"Yeah, buddy. You know what? That raise does sound good. Let's talk about that."
No, I didn't. I said before any of us need to worry about making more money, we got to figure out how to stop sucking. That's what we got to do. Good Lord, Chad.
Well, I am excited about this. So we got a new show on YouTube. We filmed the first episode today called That Deal. And you look, man. Hey, man, I'm telling you, the premise of the show is the Lord's giving me a pretty good deal in life. He told me, he said, look, you're gonna have some real troubles there in the beginning. I'm talking about you gonna have to go through the meal, boy. But then he said, you know what though? After that, I'm gonna give you a little season in life where you get to kind of do some things you want to do, and you get to do those things with your best friends. You get to have a few things you've always wanted to have, and have some time to think and enjoy life for a little bit. And on the deal, my objective is to just kind of let you guys in on that, and let you guys come along and see the stuff that we do, and hopefully it's entertaining, hopefully it's inspiring, and hopefully sometimes it's educational, because it's going to be a lifestyle show. And so we've got that. We've got also coming up Sunday shoots, and we're going to film some of those here in just a few days, actually tomorrow. So Sunday shoot.
Thursday.
Yeah. Sunday shoot will be dropping on Sunday, and we're going to take all of our firearms content on YouTube and start really making it a little more instruction-based stuff. And we're still going to review firearms and stuff like that. But I think tomorrow when we film Sunday shoot, I think I'm going to talk about the slide lock reload and whether or not to manipulate the slide or use the lever.
Yeah.
I want to go through that and actually test it out and talk about the good and bad. So Sunday shoots, and then we're going to have also a fitness aspect to the channel that's coming along too. I'm excited about that. It really gives us some structure, and I hope provides more value to you guys. So if you've been watching YouTube for a long time and you enjoy it, just get ready, because I think it's going to get a lot better. And that video that we filmed this morning on the deal, my deal, doing that deal. I think it's going to be a good video. I mean, that was an action-packed hunt.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You know, I think that's going to be a good video. Yeah. Creamy Pepe, you going to get to editing on that right quick, ain't you? Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
That out soon. I'm excited about showing that, man. What else we got for announcements? Anything else? Proving grounds this weekend, the ROP course. Chili's running through the ROP course, filling the courses up right now. If you want to put an application in, now's the time to do it. If you don't get one in right now, then you're going to have to wait another year before you get a chance to get in a ROP course.
We got that program, too.
We got the Ruck training plan, which is a great plan if you're doing a ROP course. And we have a race coming up in March, 307 Project Trail Race.
March 22nd.
Yep. And I imagine that joker's getting pretty full. So get in there, get you some. I'll be out there running with you guys, Lord willing. Now, I know that Biscuit has something big this morning that she wants to present. And
you can use that.
Poor Blake. How did Blake get stuck sharing the mic with me and nobody else has to? Do we know how that happened?
Well, he's just
kind of like Mom taking that picture of me and you and Nate.
Yeah. I'm presenting something to Cornbread.
Whoa.
So it's all about his animal energy.
Mm.
It's this new thing I'm exploring. Everybody has an animal energy. And your animal energy really struck me hard. So
How so? When so?
Just all the time. It's just the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, and the way you interact with people. So
If it doesn't say turkey, it's wrong.
he has toad energy.
It's wrong.
Toad.
Whoa, wrong.
Toad. Toad teaches about profound earth and water mysteries, especially those.
that's him.
Yeah, see? Don't you think?
Nailed it already.
See? That's what I thought. Especially those that are challenging towards us.
There you go.
And force us to grow or look beyond what is comfortable for us. The shadow aspects of toad energy are those who dislike or fear the cane toad, especially hates unpleasant changes.
Yeah, I'll go along with
Yeah,
that.
you know what's funny about this, boo-boo? What makes this, like, for real? Is
Cornbread's animal energy?
Yes, but you remember last night, I jumped them 2 toads on the walk over to the goat pen?
Yeah, they were red.
Yes, I jumped 2 toads right on the edge of this road, and they were copper red color. And that happened right before you're about to do this.
Yeah.
So this is crazy, man.
About to do what? We've not just done it?
This is crazy.
No. So I got him this to signify his animal energy. It's a satchel. You can carry stuff in it.
Now look, that's a real cane toad.
Is it?
It's a necklace.
It ain't taxidermied, is it?
Oh
Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
that's
Is it?
a real cane toad, buddy.
That's big right there, son.
What are you going to fill it up with?
You can put all kinds
Quarters.
of mess in
Coins.
Yeah.
there. Silver.
Imagine
Nice,
driving
son.
you some silver out of that thing, like when you need to pay for something, and you just open that thing's mouth and dump it out and go.
Well, what I like about it is it's sort of looking at you when you wear it, too.
Just remember when you're wearing that, Corn, you teach about profound earth and water mysteries.
Okay.
Yep.
It makes me want to pet him. Hey, I could put my oil in there.
You
Put
could.
my oil in there.
You could.
What do you
Let
think,
Chili feel that.
I'm good.
Feel that, dude. That's a real cane toad, man. Look at that.
Get you a stroke of that
Get
toad,
your laugh
Chili.
on that.
Look
Chili.
at his butt cheeks right there.
He literally presented it butt first.
Get you a stroke of that toad, bub.
Wow.
Get you a stroke of that.
Can the people see that on the camera?
It has a zipper
Okay.
on it.
Yeah.
It's a pouch, man.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
thought
a
his
toad
his
pouch.
body cavity was the pouch. It's more.
Well, it is, but it's got a zipper.
Someone
That was-
bleeding down over
That
there.
was Creamy Pepe. Thought that was funny.
How deep does it go down in there?
Oh, it gets deep.
That's what she said.
Yeah. You could put a dang Marlboro 100 in that boat.
You sure could.
Yeah, sure could.
Fill it up.
Thank you, Brooke.
You're welcome.
Now, Corn, tell me you ain't about to wear that, son.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could keep your mouth calls in that, dude.
Oh, you could.
You could keep your mouth calls
Striker?
in that.
You could put a striker in
Turkey hunt with that, yeah.
I keep my cigarettes in my toad.
Easy, easy.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, compass.
Now you talking, son.
That's to signify all the growth.
I like it because it's looking at me.
I just thought that was excellent.
Is one of his eyes missing?
No, it's got both of them.
Yeah.
Got both of them.
Do you have more to say about the animals? I mean, what are you? Or have you not got there yet?
You can't force figuring out someone's animal energy.
Even yourself?
Yeah, it just has to come to you, you know? Like Chad said, us running across those toads, and the other day when Corn was talking to me when we were squirrel hunting, I just kept seeing a toad in my mind.
And he was moving slow as a toad this morning on our squirrel hunt.
Yep.
Like no kidding. We would get to a tree, we would find the squirrel, shoot the squirrel out, pick the squirrel up off the ground, and put it in my sack. And Cornbread, you'd just be able to start seeing the top of his head.
It wasn't that bad.
coming over the ridge right there, and he would yell, "Y'all get him!"
It wasn't that bad. I seen
Look, man, it's on film. It's on film.
I seen every one of them get killed. I was close enough for all of them.
You remember that time when we were mountain biking when y'all used to do real team PT?
God, it was
And
funny.
Corn was so slow,
Yes.
and then we were giving him crap as he was riding up, and he tried to flip us off, and he wrecked and fell flat in the mud.
That was the best.
He tried to give the double bird, and he went down hard.
I do remember that. When we thought he was joking, we thought he did that on purpose.
Yeah, he
We began to
launched
say-
That's
himself 10
probably
feet.
where you originally injured your shoulder, doing that heinous sin.
I don't know.
That is true because, that's the way Cornbread was, especially when he first started working at 307 Project. He would just do things to draw attention to himself. Y'all remember when he was like that?
That's where
When he
Mudback
was
Tortoise
like that.
originated.
Yeah, that's where Mudback Tortoise came from.
That was a legit fall, too. That was straight up legit.
Well, you did actually fall all the times you fell on purpose.
no.
He was falling the other day when we were squirrel hunting. I didn't get to see him fall today.
He did it. You fell today. You had mud all over your butt.
No, I was sliding down Hamburger Hill. Every
Well, everybody else went down the hill and didn't slide on their butt.
nonetheless.
Yeah, but he's got that shoulder impingement. Like,
Yeah. I got that bad ankle, bub.
Corn, you need to go this morning. My neck and shoulders been locked up, and Lindsay put a bunch of needles all down my neck and in my back and shoulder and hooked them up to electricity and just
Wasting
turn
your
that,
breath.
You're going to get septic doing
turn that sucker on. You just lay there and your arm goes like this.
they tried to do that dry needling on me one time when I was in the Navy. That I don't believe in that stuff.
I don't either.
Do you, Chill?
Mm-mm.
How does it not make sense?
No,
You fire the muscle so much that it it's almost like
I don't believe in that at all. I think about the only thing worth doing in the PT space is, like a sports massage or something. If you were just real bound up, all the other stuff, chiropractic adjustments, dry needling, cupping, yeah. Just put
wet needling.
put oil on you and bow and do yoga and whatever the crap. None of that works. But yeah.
Nah, don't fool with that, Cornbread. As frail as you are, good night. Lord knows if they stuck a needle in you, you'd have to be on antibiotics for the next 6 months. But you'd get some sort
he'd
of
get
stinking
gangrene.
infection. You get some kind of
You're
infection.
embellishing, bub. You're embellishing. Chill out.
Corn, I'm sorry. When I gave you that toad, I feel like all the energy shifted towards
did.
you on the podcast.
It really did.
Oops.
What's his name? Looks like his name's Bert.
Tony.
Bert. Yeah. Bert.
Oh, I get it.
It's Bert.
I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's incredible.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I know you're going to use it. I know you're going to put it
absolutely.
in good.
God,
good
it looks
use.
evil.
What?
No,
Don't you say that about his animal energy.
Is
Animal.
Is a cane toad poisonous?
I think people eat them, don't they?
I don't
I mean,
know.
that face is so snake-like.
I always thought a cane toad was poisonous.
I ain't never allowed
I'll
one
look it
like
up.
that.
No,
was
I
red.
hadn't either. I mean,
Dark frog.
Is White Pepe looking stuff up for us these days?
no, he's not made it there yet. He's not made it there yet.
Open you a tab, Creme. Check and see if a cane toad is poisonous.
Is a cane toad
Oh.
poisonous?
Yes, they are.
Brooke beat you to it.
They are poisonous and can be dangerous. Well, how would he tell us? Would we let him come
he
over
shouts.
Yeah,
here?
he can just.
Oh,
can
so
just-
we would relay
Yeah.
to the audience what he says.
Yes.
They have glands on their shoulders that secrete a toxin called
That's
bufotoxin.
them big fat boys right there.
Bufotoxin
Yeah. Wow. See how they're discolored?
can cause rapid heartbeat, convulsions, paralysis, and even death.
Oh my gosh.
Symptoms of poisoning: brick red gums.
Brick red.
Dang.
What did we name that big toad that was at our house that time, Boo?
Oh shoot.
We had a toad one time at our house, and we named it because it was it stayed in the same place, right by the door. I figured you would have remembered that.
I should.
Well, I wanted to know. First of all, before we get into the show here today, this episode is brought to you by our partner at Drink HOIST, IV level hydration. HOIST is more than a beverage; it's a battlefield-proven IV level hydration supplement that is trusted by soldiers to keep them hydrated longer than water. HOIST absorbs instantly and replenishes the body immediately to keep you powering through to the next objective, mission, rep, or lap. I have been using HOIST for many years now in a lot of different environments, doing some really hard stuff, and yes, it does work. It keeps me going, and it sits well with my stomach. The flavor never gets old. It's made in America, no preservatives, no dyes. HOIST supports our first responders and our military in a big way. It's a huge element of their business and their brand. It is clinically proven to hydrate you better than water. Check them out at drinkhoist.com, which, by the way, it goes really well with coffee. Everybody hears me saying this. They don't believe me. But the best way to use HOIST just when you're kind of sitting around podcasting or sitting around the office is take a drink of coffee and chase it with a drink of HOIST. And it is just outstanding. And so the coffee's dehydrating you, but the HOIST is rehydrating you so you stay at a nice, even level of hydration. That's called osmosis, in case you guys didn't know. So,
If you did that all day, you'd never have to pee.
exactly, you would stay at the complete homeostasis of osmosis, would keep you at the perfect level of hydration. So, drinkhoist.com. HOIST, thank you for making this episode of the 3 of 7 podcast possible. Yeah, I have spit all over this table here.
I'm gonna go see if I can't get some air going in here.
Yeah, see what you can do, Bubba. I wanted to know if any of you guys have heard about Eli Musk is trying to get rid of the cent, the penny. Have you guys heard of that?
I haven't.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have wanted to do that for a long time now because it's just useless.
Yeah, well, this really resonated
Because it
with
costs
me.
more to make it, you know.
It costs 3 pennies to make 1 penny.
Right.
It costs 3 cents to make a penny.
Yeah. I know. I like pennies, but if that's the deal, if that's that deal, well, you can't be doing that.
I throw pennies in the trash often.
Now, see,
Thank
that-
you.
Now that's odd.
So
I mean,
that's
y'all
why
do
this
that.
that's
both of
why
y'all.
this resonated with me so much, is because I throw change in the garbage.
I don't throw change, pennies. What are you going to do with a penny?
pennies make dollars. Look, pennies make dollars.
You think that too, Corn? Like you
Yeah,
hold on
absolutely.
to pennies?
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
I put them in my pocket. When somebody says $2.57, I pull
Oh,
it out,
God.
$2 and 2 quarters.
You're like that
a
87-year-old
nickel, and then
woman at
2
Publix.
pennies. You know what I mean?
Pennies make dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this: if it costs 3 cents,
I don't see
to
y'all
make a penny, is a penny not worth 3 cents?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see y'all turning down someone saying, here, I got 3 billion pennies. You want them? I'd say you load them up. You would turn that down.
What are you going to do with 3 billion pennies?
We'll take
Whatever the
them
crap
to the
I
bank.
want.
He's gonna take them down there to that machine down there at the grocery store.
Oh, my gosh.
You remember when we were poor, we used to do that?
We did used to do that all the time.
What am I going to do with 3 billion pennies? Buy whatever I want.
Regions would friggin' look at you like you're an idiot if
Daggum
you walked in there with
rich.
3 million pennies.
They'd have to
You
deal
need a
with it.
wagon.
Yeah, you'd need.
You need like
some wheelbarrows and all kinds of stuff.
I absolutely hate change. I was vacuuming the floor the other day, and I was going around and finding change on the floor and picking it up, throw it in the garbage. And something happened that made me hate change even worse. I missed one piece of change, and Brooks got one of them high-powered vacuums, son. It's like a $600 vacuum. I'm talking about this son of a gun was sucked a chrome off a tailpipe. I run that son of a gun over one of them change, and that son gonna say, sound like it was about to explode, like it scared me to death. And I realized I had sucked up that change, and it just many things have happened in my life that makes me hate change. So when I saw that Elon Musk was trying to get rid of the cent, the 1 penny, I'm kind of getting on board with him now. You know,
is that not heading down the direction though? Like if we allow that, is that not moving towards getting rid of cash altogether?
look, cash is going away. Look, you might as well give up. You might as well give up on the whole idea that cash is going to stick around. It's you already about can't use cash. Like I can't tell you on a weekly basis. I carry hundreds. I don't carry a bill that's less than 100.
He's starting to throw them away, too.
She lied.
On a weekly basis, I will go and get me something from the store, a sandwich and a coffee for $15, and I will give them 100, and they just flat out can't give me change. I mean, cash is going away. It's not that they tell you, no, we don't take cash, but they don't keep enough cash in their register to make change for a man like me that totes big bills. So it ain't going to, look, flat out, man, it ain't going to be long. There ain't going to be no cash.
I've had 2 instances in the last 2 weeks that was contrary to that. Like where I just moved, there's a restaurant that I went to and ate with the family. They don't take Now card.
What?
They sure don't. They don't take Now card. And I had an electrician come out and do some work at the house yesterday. He don't take Now card. It's either cash or check. Same way at that one restaurant.
Well, look,
Doing
at
that
where
kind
you
of work.
live.
That's what I was about to
Doing
say.
that kind of work, you shouldn't take nothing but cash.
Exactly.
Cayuga County.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get north of Rome, and it is a different world. Even like the meat market that we buy meat from, they'll give you a discount if you spend cash. Well, the reason these people doing that is they don't want to. They're not wanting to pay tax on this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Smart.
You know what I mean? And good on them. And but that's really only way out in the country anymore. You can't hardly use cash in the city. Even in a city like Rome. I mean, Rome's getting big, man.
Oh yeah.
These stinking apartments and crap they building down here. We're gonna end up being up there by you before long.
Well, this is switching subjects a bit off of money, but you said something the other day, Chad, I didn't know was happening about Trump banning women's right to vote.
Yeah. Did y'all hear about that?
I didn't hear about
He's
it.
trying to ban women's right to vote.
Yeah.
It's a campaign promise.
Yeah.
He's delivering.
So we got a woman in here today. I didn't know how you felt about that.
I got something to say about that and a few other things. You know, y'all play a good game on this podcast that y'all are all sexist as mess. Like when we gave the awards and all the things I do, the award did not go to me. Like Chad got race director of the year and he's never race directed. Blake got photographer of the year. A lot of times when I say something that adds to the conversation, you all choose to stay silent or you roll your eyes or you giggle like this freaking woman, I know what she's talking about. And we make jokes about women's rights and stuff. All I'm
Chad
saying,
also won Gardener of the Year.
all I'm saying is I think it's funny too. I mean, I also like making women's rights jokes. However, there are young girls who I know of who listen to this podcast with their parents, and they need to know that we are joking and that you guys don't treat your wives like this, and that you do not want people treating your girls like this.
Well, I'm talking about what Trump's doing.
Y'all know,
we don't
see,
agree with all this stuff Trump's doing
Y'all-
against women.
That's really what we've always been
y'all
talking
can keep
about.
it up right now. I'm just putting out a quick note to anybody who's a young woman who listens to this podcast that they do not most of the time treat me like this off the air.
Well,
I think it's bullcrap.
I do too. I mean, I do too.
Oh yeah, because
That's why I
I
didn't vote.
recall like 5 or 6 episodes ago, you guys were telling me Trump's America's coming and I'm going to lose all rights to do anything.
Yeah, we're
And-
informing.
We weren't happy about it. Do you think we were happy?
I didn't vote for him. You voted for him.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the
You
daggum
voted your
weird.
rights
That's
away.
the
I don't know who
weird.
I voted for.
That is the weird part about it. I didn't vote for him on account of that. That's broke the
No, y'all
camel's
didn't.
back.
Y'all didn't vote for him because y'all are all too lazy to vote in general. That's why you didn't vote for him.
I went and voted.
Not you. I didn't look at you.
And I gave you
I was looking at them.
CrossFitter of the Year. You need to be talking to them.
You know what, Corn? You voted for a misogynist.
I did.
Wow.
Corn, but see, even just now when they were
MAGA
acting,
country.
they were gaslighting me just now because they know what I'm talking about and they're acting like you were laughing.
Yeah, what is
I was
gaslighting?
You were
laughing at your delivery.
Gaslighting is I'm telling you guys what you do and y'all are flipping saying, oh no, we actually are appalled by Trump saying he's going to take women's
am.
rights to vote when y'all were pro that a couple podcasts ago, but now you're acting like I'm the crazy one. That's gaslighting. So
Why
Corn,
don't you just say that?
Corn, you
I'm
giggled.
laughing. You're smiling. I'm laughing with you. You think it's just as funny as the explanation you're giving. And
I do think it's
And
funny.
for the record, have we ever been pro Trump's policies on that?
On women? No.
Never once.
No.
Do y'all want me to pull up the episode I'm thinking about?
I'm gonna
Because
go
I
ahead.
can.
Let me make this clear right now. A woman is the most beautiful thing God ever created.
Come on.
I'm talking about I have seen mountains and canyons and beautiful night skies and this and that. But when I see my biscuit in that shower looking like this,
Shut your
my
mouth.
I say, good
What is wrong?
night, praise
another panel
the
on the
Lord.
fence. Another
I
panel
say-
on the fence.
I say praise the Lord for what he has made
It's a whole
right
section
here.
of fence.
A woman is the most beautiful thing that that the Lord made on this earth. In my eyes, I ain't never seen nothing that looks so beautiful as my woman. You know? And it's just like that old song. What my woman can't do can't be done. If there's ever been a gardener, I've got one.
Come on.
No, just stop. So why did you have to throw
Right.
in the shower part into that statement? Couldn't you just left that out?
No, I like to.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
woman's body.
That's enough. That's enough. Let's switch subjects.
Why would you cover up what God has created? Beautiful.
Yeah, when you see it in its raw form, you say, "That's it, right there, buddy." There ain't a mountain, a canyon, a star, a flower, a piece of gold. There ain't nothing that will touch that. You know what I'm saying?
Have you guys thoroughly?
But now my woman hasn't had children yet
hey,
either. So.
shut up. Don't you?
So not everybody can say what I'm saying.
Yet.
Not everybody can say what I'm saying.
You deserve to be punched in the face right now for
What, baby?
so many reasons.
What did I do?
You're acting. Are you suggesting that women who have had children are not as good looking as women who
Not
have?
at all. That's not what I meant at all.
It's not what he's suggesting. It's what he is explicitly stating. He would
No,
never.
that's
he
not
would,
what I meant
I
at
would
all.
never
Don't laugh
suggest
at this,
that.
Cream Pepe. It's not funny.
Chad would never suggest that.
Y'all are gonna turn Cream Pepe sexist if y'all keep this up.
Yeah, it's creme, and he's his
That's
own
what I
man.
said.
He is his
Yeah,
own
he's
man.
a grown man. That's
yeah,
a grown man.
if he's
sitting
got to
over
be
there.
stuck in a chair listening to y'all say, "Oh, women that have babies ain't good no more," it's gonna mess him up.
He's his own. He's his own individual person.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he spotted a squirrel this morning.
What does that have to do with it?
He's a grown man.
He's a groaning.
Yeah.
We walked up to that tree and he said, "There's the squirrel." He had it. And
there it
the
was.
rice.
Speaking on this line of women and you being inappropriate, if y'all have, I don't care, but have y'all already talked about Corn having much better numbers than you on like all things on the blokes test?
Well,
on the
we
podcast?
released it. We released a video.
But have y'all told our podcast listeners that Corn has
No,
better sex binding globulin,
No, I have higher on
testosterone,
that.
and free testosterone than you?
I don't think we've told the podcast listeners.
I don't think that's something we talked about.
I just wanted to make sure they knew.
Cornbread's big. He fills it up, boy.
It's raining outside. It ain't raining.
CB will fill it up.
He would. I heard he would. Till it runs out.
Yeah.
Why'd you look at me and go, ugh, like I said that? It was your husband that said it.
Look,
Good grief.
look. You said there's young kids that watches this podcast.
Yeah.
And listen, get on him,
Who?
Blake.
What did he do?
But he's saying all kinds of vulgar stuff.
What
Y'all are going off the rails on this
What?
show, man.
What did I?
What has happened to this show?
It's this
What are you
dang
talking
toad,
about?
man.
It is that.
Once that toad come out,
Yeah. I don't know that thing's gonna be allowed at the table anymore, Corn. That's some crazy mess right there.
I'm gonna wear that booger at the proving ground, son. Believe that.
All right. Well, I would like to get my update from you guys on what's going on in the world today and also in local news because I have done nothing but squirrel hunt.
You can say that again.
That's all. I have it. The whole world could be just going to pots right now, and I wouldn't know. So I'm trying to get up to speed. Although I did see about head, getting rid of the scent. I saw that on Instagram. But that's the only news I've seen. Is anything else?
Local news about to be big.
Anything else big happening?
Oh, really?
Let's kick off with local news.
Local news? Well, this past week, by the way.
I hope this ain't DNR because my buddy Hal over there hates the dang game.
No, they ain't now DNR this week, but Georgia voted on its official bread for the state of Georgia. Guess what it is?
Can we guess?
Yeah.
Is it Wonder Bread?
No.
Sourdough.
No.
I would have guessed sourdough, but I mean I'm not a bread connoisseur, so
Cornbread
no
is
kidding,
the official bread of Georgia.
Dang.
I know Brooke. I know Brooke likes guessing games. Georgia also released the DMV some of the top tags that they turned down for the 2024 year. Those personalized tags. I've
Custom
never
letters.
understood the appeal of having a personalized tag.
If I could get some of them that they turned down, I'd have them.
Dude, you
I
could
bet
get
you
a
could guess the top
a
one.
custom one that said bread.
Yeah.
So I get the appeal.
Sea bread. You can say sea bread.
Y'all could probably guess the top one that got turned down. It's pretty
A
vulgar.
cuss word.
It, with
Just
that
say it, Corn.
hot tua.
That's what Chad says at the tree.
It does.
Hot to 'em.
But they turned stuff down like thick baby.
I
Spider,
bet that one's hot in Atlanta.
yeah, Spider Man, which me and Hal was talking. That could be Speeder Man. They could be against the Jews. You know what I mean? Hating on them.
Peter?
Yeah, Speederman.
Oh.
Trump 24. They turned down USAF vet, U.S. Air Force vet. They turned that down.
That's stupid.
Yeah. WWE, you're nasty. White girl spelled with a Y. Limpy.
Wait, Lippy?
Yeah, Limpy. Yeah. MAGA 47. America. You want to say this one, Chili?
I'll say it.
I don't know how to say it. That and with the N and the 2 3s.
Well, it's N33DGA5.
What is that?
Don't try it, Chili.
Well, I mean, I feel like I know what it's going for, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to say it. But nonetheless, it was a big week in Georgia. They picked the bread and said, hey, y'all can't have none of these personal.
They turned down Psalm 20.
Yeah, Psalm 20.
That's lame.
Wow.
Y'all wait till Trump hears about this.
Yeah.
Them turning down all them Trump tags and stuff.
Yeah,
They turned down Hot Thing.
Get you some of that.
I ain't never understood.
Heifer one.
That's a good one.
Heifer one?
Yeah, Heifer one. Hellboy.
Hell boy.
Wow. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've never understood personalized tags either. I don't understand why we all choose to play along with the rule that you have to go and purchase a tag for your vehicle. But we do all choose to play along with that. So I don't understand why. You know, I understand the concept of having a tag on your vehicle for law enforcement purposes. But if that's what we're going to do, I pay taxes. So, you know, take some of that, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year that I give to you, Georgia, and just take a few cents out of that money and send me a tag, and I'll put it on my vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't charge me for a tag and then tell me I've got to come up there and pay you more money to get a sticker to put on that tag every year, or else you're going to pull me over. It's the craziest thing, man. It's just the craziest dang thing. That has been one of my pet peeves for years. I rode around with expired tags for years and years and years until I got to the point that now I don't own anything. And so Blake handles all that for me. I don't own anything. Just for all y'all that's listening, there ain't nothing that I own.
Well, you own half of a lot of things.
Well, not. I mean, kinda, but
And then they put another tax on it and make you get emissions if you live in the metro area.
I remember they used to do that when we lived in Paulding County.
Yeah, you got to get an emissions before you can get your tag. $25 for dang emissions.
Scam.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news for you, Cornbread. Bread of the state.
That's right.
Well, you wanted to be up on national news. I mean, you got to talking about some fiscal policy a little bit earlier. What do you think about the tariffs? Tariffs on Mexico, Canada, China. You know, if is that gonna drive the price up of everyday goods for Americans? You think that's what's coming?
Well, I mean, are you saying it's going to drive the price up because we're going to have less imports and more things are going to have to be starting to be made in America?
Well, everybody sounded the alarm, the liberal media, that if Trump put tariffs on everybody like he said he was going to do, that it was going to drive the price up of everything. But what they failed to understand is that's definitely not going to happen if the tariffs, if the threat of tariffs work out the deal that his administration is wanting. Then you'll never even have to, then it's a leverage tool. It's a negotiation tool. So
can you explain to a layman like me exactly what he's trying to accomplish by these tariffs? Because I know it's something.
Well, what he's trying to
big on
accomplish,
it.
I don't know the specific deal he wants worked out with every country, and you'll need to help me, Cornbread, but like he wants specific things. Like he wants Mexico to, it's all about the border wall mainly and everything. So all he's saying he's going to do is put tariffs on goods that come into this country from Mexico, so they have to pay so much more. Basically just so they'll go, okay, we don't want to pay that and do that, so we'll we'll do what you want with the border wall.
Yeah.
And that's already happened. So he paused the tariffs that he was going to put on Mexico.
He put a 30-day pause in their president, which is a woman. In Mexico, their president's a woman.
Thank you for
And Trump said
pointing that out to me.
Trump
Corn.
said she's very good. She's a very good president. Yes, she is.
Just like that.
He did. That's what he allowed.
I mean, we think our elections are corrupt. Could you imagine the elections in Mexico?
voted for a woman.
Look at him swooping in and taking away your moment.
I mean,
you see
I'm just
that?
being serious.
He just
man.
negated
Like,
it.
You want to know who the president of Mexico is? Whoever the United States wants it to be. That's who's the president of Mexico.
I think it's the cartels.
So when he talked to her, I don't know her name. I can't remember.
I don't know. There
But
wasn't
anyhow,
worth knowing.
she agreed.
I didn't know about that woman.
She agreed to send 10,000 troops to the border, and I think they're working something out to help fight the cartels. You know, because he signed the very very big act, put the cartels on the terrorist list. They about to go down there and rain some fire on them, son.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Is that was just
So he's just using them as leverage.
that was just to oppose Trump and his policies. Like they don't understand what tariffs are really for.
Because I could see if you were putting tariffs on these imports, and these countries who like China or Mexico or Vietnam or whatever, who import a lot of stuff to the U.S. Let's say China, for instance. We say, okay, we're going to tariff you mess, China. Well, then if China just said, okay, well, screw you. We're not going to send anything else over there. I could see then how it could drive prices up here because of the scarcity of products that we're used to having available that come in from China. But if China doesn't have the option to just say, screw you, we're not sending anything else over there, because then it would destroy their economy, and Trump knows that, so then he's just using it for leverage to be able to manipulate them to do what he wants them to do, then it makes total sense, right?
Well, Trump, China's going to be harder to deal with than Canada and Mexico. I mean, I think they've already put out that they were going to their counter tariffs.
I saw something from Canada about that. Yeah.
Well, that's not going to that ain't gonna matter. But China's going to do counter tariffs, so that may. Yeah. It's going to be hard with China, but
they counter tariff at like 15% on coal. And stuff like that.
Now, Canada. Trudeau came out for a second and said he was going to do that too, but I think that's already fallen apart. He has no leverage. I mean, he was like, "That Florida orange juice going to get high and all this," and then it's already gone. I mean, Canada and Mexico that's nothing, but China will be hard to deal with. Like Corn said, they've already put counter tariffs on things like coal, so more negotiation needs to happen. I mean, because if that all went into place, like the tariffs that he's threatening on China did go into place actually, and not just a threat, and they put the counter ones on it, it would hurt the U.S. as it stands now.
Right.
But, I mean, it's all about making deals, you know, so it won't end up like this.
I mean, it would be nice if more manufacturing was brought back to the United States. And I had heard something for a while that there was actually going to be something implemented where if a business produces something, one of their products in the United States, that there was going to be a tax break for every business that produced a product in the United States.
That would be awesome.
Like, I understand using these tariffs for leverage and why people are freaking out about, because we are so reliant on imports. I mean, we're way more reliant on imports than our exports in terms of our economy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know. The ultimate solution to me seems like to produce more here in the United States and then just be able to tell everybody else, screw you, we don't freaking need you for anything anyways. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion is just my opinion, but I think not that can't be done, but that process is going to take so long because we're so heavily dependent on other countries' goods.
Yeah.
It won't. like if you could just wave a wand and have that happen, yes, that would be the answer, and that's good. But we're so deep into the whole of this that I don't know what the.
Well, the whole culture is like we're what do they
tough.
call us? A consumer culture. So I mean, like you said, if you
have to have the businesses to do that first of all.
Exactly. I mean, if you took Walmart for instance, what if you said, okay, everything in the Walmart
It's
that
not
is
made
made
in
in America is out of here. You're gonna go to Walmart and have about maybe 2 or 3 things to buy in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if that.
But dude, we buy so much freaking junk. Look at the toys your kids have.
Go ahead.
Look at the toys your kid. I mean, we as Americans, we just want to buy so much junk.
That PS5 is pretty nice.
That's made in America. That's made in America.
It's still junk.
That is not junk.
That ain't junk, son. I'm about to use
That
the
is not
fire
junk.
out of
Cornbread
this
will have
thing.
that for the rest of his life, man.
Sure will.
Excuse you.
heirloom.
Good night.
So not only would we for that shift to happen, not only would we have to, like you said, ramp up everything that goes along with production here in the United States, but we would also just have to. There would have to be a culture shift.
Yeah,
to where it's like your kid has like 2 toys that are really special to them.
Yeah, bicycle and a baseball bat.
And not 500
Right.
toys
Not
that
even a
are
baseball.
all disposable that all came from China. You know what I mean?
They just beat their bike with.
Yeah, a bicycle and a baseball bat's all they need.
Not even a baseball.
I was just looking. I was curious. Do you guys know our major exports? Because I had no clue. Do y'all know?
I don't know.
I'm very. This was October 2024. Number 1 is oil. Number 2 is civilian aircraft parts, which makes sense.
Well,
Like
yeah. I mean, if you're
Lockheed
talking
and-
about all in told, it's the defense industry. I mean, we sell weapons.
natural gas and petroleum gas. The 5th is passenger vehicles, and that's it. We don't. It says some agriculture, but that's like the 6th one. We don't do. I mean, yeah, we don't do very much.
No, not in terms of export.
No.
And what I mean partially too about how deeply ingrained it is all these companies, that do the most business in the U.S. A lot of it's food, right? Like McDonald's and Starbucks and Walmart. Like, you can't just turn around and say, we're going to get these, get this Starbucks out to you because the cup is made from China.
Yeah.
And then the sleeve that it's in is in China, and then the stir is in China. Like, it's just it just is so deeply ingrained that it would not be a quick process, and I just don't know how you would stand up that much industry again and manufacturing fast enough. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be a tough process to make stuff in America again.
And it might actually be.
Not that it can't be done.
Well, I mean, even though, but even you could even pose the question: could it be done with the amount of the amount of disposable convenience that's built into our lifestyles here in America? You know what I mean? Like you said, all these little pieces, like you know what I'm talking about? Like, why don't I have a coffee cup that I take with me and get my coffee in?
Health department would say, no way, Jose.
Yeah, it's like there's so much that's disposable in our culture and in the way that we live. All these little pieces and lids and boxing and it's like you could cut so much of that crap out.
Well, Brooks said it. I mean, it's regulation that prevents some of that.
You even look at my house. So my mother-in-law, bless her heart, I love her to death, but she just bought us a bunch of new cups and bowls, and I can't stand it. You open up our thing right there, there's about 500 forks and spoons in there.
Nanny gave us those.
I know. I'm like, why do I have all these forks and spoons? Look, why don't I have 10 forks, 10 spoons? I'm not going to have more than 10 folks over here to eat. And just
You guys were all at our house when we had to get together and we ran out of forks and spoons.
well, that was a big one.
You were there.
Well,
that was that bash.
yeah,
that was
That was like
that's
the
why Nanny
precursor to
gave
the
us
bash.
more silverware.
I don't like having all
And you
that extra stuff.
No, you tend to keep about 6 spoons in your car at all times too, so we have to have extra.
Well,
And those
I'll tell you what,
bowls-
I'm about to start changing some stuff in my life.
He started to say at my house, and as he turned to look at you, he said, my life.
We also ate out of those bowls Mom got us last night.
Well,
That
you
salad
end up
I made
using
you.
them, but then it's just more dishes for me to wash.
Have you guys ever noticed that everything he talks about gets exaggerated just a little bit?
I'm the same way with that extra.
Clutter.
To the mic there, Blake.
I'm the same way with that extra. I can't stand. I just went through my stuff and I disperse my extra.
He does it every month.
But I give good stuff.
Yeah,
Corn,
yeah,
did I not give you? I bet I gave you $500 worth of stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Between them britches, them 2 red
And
dots.
look what you gave poor old Chili, a freaking emergency ration block.
Well, that's
What
what he
I
wanted.
wanted. I actually asked for that.
Good night.
This.
Chili, you come out on the raw end today. I'm going to go through my stuff. I'm going to bring some stuff for you, Bubba.
No,
don't
please
you worry.
don't. I asked for that. I asked for that.
We'll bring you some stuff.
Yeah, we're going to bring you some stuff next
No,
week.
please
Chili.
don't. I asked for that block right there, and Blake obliged.
Oh, this has 9 grams of saturated fat in it.
That's good for you.
Yeah, I'm about to change some stuff in my life. Look, man, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 vehicles. Now, don't none of them belong to me.
Yeah, I know.
But there's 5 vehicles at my house for
Let's sell 'em.
for 2 people to use.
Let's sell them. Let's go down to 2
you gotta
vehicles.
count the boat, too, bub.
I got
That's
a boat.
That's my boat.
I've got 3 ATVs.
No, he bought that boat.
Yeah.
I did. I bought that boat. Sorry about that, boo boo.
He didn't buy
You
that
don't
boat.
have a boat no more.
No, he didn't buy that
But
boat.
look, I am the prime example of the American consumer. I've got 5 vehicles
Yeah.
for 2 people to drive. That's what happens when you get rich.
So are we? Oh my gosh!
You got to have them investment vehicles, don't you, Hal? Hal knows Hal's got them investment vehicles.
Well, you got to have someone to manage all that. That's when you hire Hal.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, outstanding. Well, yeah, I think the tariffs are a good thing, in my opinion, after hearing what I've heard today.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is I'm glad you brought up the penny thing because I'm torn on the penny. You know, I really like coins, kind of a numismatics expert, you know, and I would have a hard time getting rid of pennies. But the fact that they cost 3 cents to make is like that just breaks your brain. So something's got to be done about that.
Well,
but Eli Musk was also he's busy lately. He's been real busy, and him and Trump, I think, a dispute is coming amongst them. I can feel it.
You knew that relationship wasn't going to last.
I can feel it. That's not going to last. But Eli was making his case that you needed to simplify the tax code. Basically, all the write-offs that we all do and all the big businesses loopholes, like just simplify that, man. Just take it off. Greatly reduce income tax that, you know, Trump floated to get rid of it. And then just make it simple. He's like, you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out the tax code. So just simplify it down. I mean, I would be for that. Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, do you feel that if that happened, you would end up paying all that money back in other ways through other taxes and once again, the price of goods going up? Since we were on that topic, is that what's going to happen? Is we'll end up having income tax greatly reduced, but then you're just going to pay it in other ways? I mean, that's useless.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the problems is they've taken all the money out of Social Security.
Yep.
So we're playing catch up every day.
Yep.
With Social Security. To all the millions of people that are receiving Social Security checks every month, we're playing catch up every single day because they took that first lump when they decided to do it. What was it, in the 60s or whatever? We're going to pull from it, And we've been trying to catch that up. I mean, it's never going to get caught up.
Yeah.
We're all paying Social Security taxes here, and when we get a
May not
certain
ever
age,
get it.
we're expecting to get it, and it could possibly not even be there.
Well, the question is, do you actually think that they had a lump of money, or do you
that's-
think that they just
Well,
said
yeah.
so?
Thank you, Blake. I was about to pose that question. Is any of this even real?
No, I don't think.
Well, it is, but what I've always made the case for, it's not real in the sense of when you're this far in debt and the amount of taxes they take doesn't cover what they spend, well, then your taxes aren't going to anything. They just print the money that they need to buy anything. So that's the issue, is you might as well just burn all your tax dollars. But I just am just on the real level of, if income tax goes away, we all think that'd be great, but it's going to be made up for in other ways. Like, your total tax burden will never go down again, is my opinion. But no, it's all a sham. I mean, we're $40 trillion in debt, like, as a country, and we print money to make up for what we need to spend.
Who did we borrow that money from?
The Federal Reserve. We print it.
That's some weird stuff right there. All of these monies on the screen, it ain't real.
It's not represented accurately by.
Like, it's like if somebody, we've had it happen many times where somebody has hacked our bank account or whatever, and they will bust out like many dollars off of that number on the screen there. You call the bank, and the bank's just like, oh, no big deal. And all of a sudden, they make those numbers reappear. Ain't none of that crap real, man.
Yeah, I agree. Ain't much to the whole situation.
No, we're just living in a facade. Anyway, did y'all see where, did anybody see where that little man in the Ukraine, what's his name? The president?
Volodymyr Zelensky?
Yeah, Zelensky. He said that they only got like a little bit of that billions that they sent over there.
That is funny. Well, it's misplaced.
You know what that is. That's old Daddy Trump made a phone call and said, hey, Zelensky, you go ahead and say you didn't get much of that money, and I'm going to let you keep some of it, and it's going to make this past administration look even worse than it did. That's all that is. It's all fake, man. Y'all dummies fall for all this crap. The big dog and pony show, man.
I don't know about that phone call, but
I guarantee you it happened.
all right.
All right, is that all we got in the news today?
That's it.
That was a good update. Chili, thank you for getting us up to speed on them tariffs and
Oh, yeah.
all that good stuff. That was big. Cornbread. Congratulations.
Thanks, Corn.
Yeah.
Bread.
It's pretty good today, Corn.
Official
What we got
bread.
from Patreon today?
Today's Patreon question is brought to by Ryan. I guess Ryan don't have a last name. The topic of homeschooling has come up a few times. In your opinion, which subjects or skill sets should be prioritized to best prepare future generations?
Finally, a Blake question.
Didn't we do that last time?
No.
No, we've never had this question.
No,
Well, with Paul? With Paul?
yeah. No, it wasn't this one.
Oh.
No.
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 Well,
Busted, Blake.
my opinion is the same as
On the episode with Paul.
is that I think what you should teach your kids is how to solve problems, and they got to know their regular reading and writing and arithmetic. But once you get up about past algebra, none of that stuff. You don't remember none of that
I'm
stuff.
going to go ahead and tell you, Bubba, I ain't used no algebra ever.
Well, you probably have. You just don't call it algebra. But I think that's about the highest math you need to do. You need to know how to communicate, how to speak publicly to people. Don't have to be in a big setting, but you need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to solve problems, and that'll get you much higher than most of what this darn public school's teaching you. That's my opinion. My kids are young, and they might grow up, and you say, well, you's wrong, Blake. And I might be, but that's what I think.
Well, I am actually a homeschool teacher. Okay. So
He is.
I'm a homeschool teacher.
Don't laugh at it.
If you want me to teach your kids, I do offer these services, $20,000 per class.
Yeah, he's high.
I do weekly classes. I will teach your kid $20,000 per class. That's what Blake pays me to teach one of his kids, and so I'll even give y'all that family discount for the first 10 kids.
Yeah.
Anything over that, the price is going to be higher. So if you want to get in on those services, you let me know. And we'll let Blake know, and he'll work that out and get you on the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that history is an important subject to teach kids. And we all know that our history is probably, well, no, it's definitely not 100% accurate. And most of the history that we read was written by the winners. The winners get to make the history whatever they want it to be. But nonetheless, there are things that we can research and look at, and occurrences in the past in human history that we can learn from. And I think it's important, obviously, to understand history so that we can do our best not to repeat the same mistakes, which is what humanity does and has done for thousands of years. We continuously repeat the same mistakes as human beings because times change, technology changes, all this stuff changes, but the human being is still the same. And we ultimately, at the root, we make a lot of the same mistakes. So I think history is a beneficial thing to study, and we can also learn from people in history, just traits. And like I read the Washington biography. It was just looking at people like that, and so, someone who is obviously was really successful and really influential, and trying to learn things about, okay, what did they do, how did they live, what were some of the things they valued, and thinking about how I could apply them in my life. So I think history is definitely important.
But the problem with history is how it's taught. Because in school, it's taught as just remember these dates and these events, and then we're going to quiz you on it. You're not actually learning the
why.
Like why this happened, what was going on. It's like this happened on this date, and this is the chronological order and this who was involved, and that's what's going to be on the test. And then you like, okay, well, what do I do with that? That's the problem with history. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah. I think also, obviously, like yesterday, yesterday our lesson was all about how to create a budget. We talked about how, this was during my homeschooling session, how you can't have everything you want, obviously, because you don't have unlimited money. So you have options in life. So how to weigh two different options, how to decide, what you're going to spend your money on, and then how to take the money that you do have and create a budget for that. I think that that's a really important thing. And I think for us, that has been, well, I don't guess it has been intuitive, because I saw my mother manage our money well. Our mom really she's still good at doing that. So we had that example at a young age, and Mom and Dad both did teach us, and talk to us about how to spend money, how to manage money, stuff like that. Did you have that growing up too, Boo Boo?
A little bit. Yeah, I think my parents did a good job of teaching me that, but I wanted to chime in on pretty much what you're saying is, I think so many of my classes, especially in high school, I did nothing with them. But in high school, when I wanted to buy a car, I had no idea what a bill of sale was, what a title was, how to get a loan. There's just so many other things that we run into, even going about buying a house and learning more about credit and paying cash for things versus financing them and credit cards. And it's not stuff that I like, but it would be a great use of time. And concepts like you're talking about to teach to young folks, it just sounds great versus I'm in biology learning what a cell looks like and how many protons, neutrons, and electrons are inside, and I have to be able to No, give me some reasonable stuff to learn. So, yeah, but no, my parents did a good job of teaching me.
I just wanted to bring that up as one of the critical things that I think needs to be taught, because so many people that I know, they are so in debt. Like their whole life is just strapped down, and they're just trying to pay their bills from week to week. And I look at these are adults, and I'm like, how did you get there? Like, I understand, like, there are some people in that situation where they had some sort of medical emergency or family member got sick or something, and it put them in that position, right? Like an emergency. I'm not talking about those people, but I'm talking about the guy down there at Harrison Lake Park that's got the brand new Toyota Tundra with the brand new bass boat and $15,000 worth of fishing gear, and he ain't paid for none of it. It's like, what is wrong with people, man?
Well, we think that like you teach kids, and then once you become an adult, you stop learning. And it's like, whatever you're going to know as an adult, you got to learn this before you turn 18. And that's half the reason, is that adults aren't willing to learn anymore. And so you think, like, what should you teach a kid homeschooling? Well, when they're 8 years old, you need to teach them what they're going to need to know for when they're probably 9 or 10 years old. And when they're 10 years old, you need to teach them, because you can teach a kid how to budget and things like that. And they might remember some of that, but chances are when an 8-year-old gets 20, they're probably not going to remember much about the budget, but they can still take life lessons from that and learn, they do have money now, and you can kind of teach them that growing up. But I think a lot of these things get taught later in life, maybe in high school when they're actually having those things to manage. But then you also have to remember, you as a person listening to this, you're an adult, and you still, like, when you're 18, you don't know how to do taxes. You don't know nothing about a mortgage. You don't know nothing about debt. And you got to seek people out. There's nobody there anymore that is now your teacher in life and says, you have your parents, right? And you should utilize that source if it's good. But we have to keep learning, because there's new things. We can't learn it all before we turn 18.
I think a couple other if I wanted to, like, narrow it down to the most important things that I learned, beyond, like, your regular subjects, like we're talking about, how to manage a budget, history, math, reading, all that stuff. So one of the most important things that my mom taught me or gave me was just the freedom to like dream or imagine. She let me do that. Like, she let me be wild, man. She let me do mohawks and roam in the woods and play army and fight and just, like, dream and have an imagination. She didn't stifle that. That's helped me tremendously, obviously, now in what I do today. Another thing is work ethic and mindset. And how do you teach a kid that? Well, I was taught that, started out with my dad and my grandfather. They allowed us to start working with them as surveyors, land surveyors, when I was probably 12, 13 years old, probably. And that was hard work. That was hard work. And then it went beyond that to then a man who mentored me in work ethic later on in my teen years was Don Tidwell. And, he provided the opportunity for me to work hard and showed me what hard work looked like and put me around other, like, real men who were rough and worked hard. And so that taught me work ethic, what the expectations are in terms of work. Like, you show up on time. Like, you got to get your freaking butt out of bed and go into work and, like, be there. And you're expected to perform while you're there. Those were the expectations for me when I was a kid. And that's how I grew up working, man. And then in terms of mindset, this is something that I am teaching Blakely right now in homeschool. like yesterday, we did our PT test. So we do PE. We have a physical standards test that we take every couple months. And I'm seeing her mindset start to develop because for PE, like I'm not trying to make her physically, like I'm not worried about her physique and her strength. And at this age, like I'm just trying to teach her, hey, this is your mind against your body. And your body is capable of doing more than your mind will allow it to do right now. And so we were doing our run yesterday at the end of our PT test, and she was struggling, son. And she's running along, and I hear her over there whispering to herself, you got this. You can do this. Like she's saying these things to herself because she's starting to realize, no, this is more about my mind. And I tell her over and over again, hey, yes, we're doing something physical right now, but what we're doing is training your mind. And why are we training your mind? Because I even tell her at this young of age, I'm like, look, Blakely, life is going to be hard. That's why we have to train your mind right now. Your mind is weak. And she even understands this at this age, and she's starting to implement it. And I'm putting her in these, like yesterday, it was a 1 mile run after max bar hang, push up, sit up. So it's a hard PT test, a 1 mile run in hills and this, and like it's no joke.
And do they know how old she is? Because I feel like that's very relevant.
I don't know how old she is. She's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm providing her with these opportunities at this really young age, pushing her and holding her to a standard and explaining to her that it's her mind that's holding her back and that we have to intentionally train that muscle. So I'm hoping that's going to set her up for some success. And I, my mindset was really developed during SEAL training for me. And, just when I grew up, I didn't have men around me who were into physical challenging. I mean, they worked, but that was their physical activity, Yeah. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to go out and do something hard just for the sake of training our minds. And so I'm trying to give her that opportunity because that would have been nice, I think, for me to have had when I was young. When I'm teaching her, I'm trying to think of what would I have wanted? Like, what do I think would have set me up maybe for a little easier time in life? You know what I mean? So those are kind of 2 or 3 big ones.
I, growing up in the private school, we ridiculed the curriculum a lot. Really, we did. We just you don't do things. You do things a little bit differently when you go to private school. At least mine was, and it just didn't make any sense. Some of it, and over time, I like this question that he asked because I started thinking, well, it's really a question of how you should spend your time, or when you're a kid, as the teacher, how you should have them spend their time. And it's like, if you broke it up into 5 things, you could kind of equally spend a fifth of your day on each of these. Like, and some of this is kind of broad, but like, kind of like what Blake says, if you had English, then you learn how to read and write, and it's all tailored for the age of the kid. And then finance, so that's basic math, and then actual real world math. So all of the taxes and the, how you do, what credit is, and how, like, explain math through applicable things. Math is not explained like just in the workbook. It's actually, hey, here's how you do math in the real world. And then most of the time should be spent with creative things, really. Like, that's fundamental. And then physical education, like you're doing with Blakely. But that doesn't have to just be trying out a bunch of different sports and running and lifting weights. That can be half that, and then half physical education, like things that you do physically and working with your hands. I mean, that can be learning skills as part of that time. I mean, from a very young age, like teaching a kid how to do things that they're going to run into or that they may like to do. And then this is one big one that it's just totally absent from anything, is philosophy. Like how to think and teaching how to think. That's totally absent from anybody I've ever heard of that went to private school, public school, homeschool, like it's just not there. And philosophy, that's, I mean,
Most people don't want to think.
well, yeah, but that is that's to me when you wrap in, teaching about, the Bible, and then you're teaching, well, and here's other schools of thought, and here's why this doesn't make sense, and logic and philosophy and all that's wrapped into one. And then if you want to make it 5, like just creativity, like drawing and coloring. I mean, that's a part of school to me, that's a part of learning, and learn to play an instrument, draw here, whatever you want to do, like think, sit and think, do this. I don't know. I think that's the fundamentals of what we do as adults. Like you do basic math, you read and write, you think, you have to solve problems. And obviously like creativity, some things you do for fun, and then physical work. Everybody, maybe not everybody does, but you should make that a part of your life. Physical, working out, or doing something, a fun sport that you like to play tennis, whatever. And then that goes in line with kind of the complete yourself that we always talk about at 3 of 7 too. And I think that hits all of them, and it cuts out science completely. But it doesn't have to. Like if your kid is interested in that would be a part of that creative aspect of the day that you would touch on. Like nothing's missing. I don't know. That just made a lot of sense to me. For years ago, I thought about that. And philosophy is a big one that I don't know. That kind of sets the foundation for learning anything. And as the teacher, using the Socratic method, like asking kids, what do they think about something? I was never asked that in school, ever. And that sets the stage, and it also makes kids more interested to receive what you're going to end up teaching them, because they get input in it. And
I think a lot of that is done through not treating your kid like
a kid. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, we'll ask our kids a lot of times that same question. What do you think about this? And then we just, like no leading. Like, do you think it's this, or do you just leave it open ended, and then just let them answer? But yeah, you do have to treat a kid different, right? But you don't. You can still treat them like an adult in certain ways, and give them their own freedom to think and respond. Yeah,
we don't teach kids finance or philosophy because they're a kid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No. Why not though? Why could you not? A young kids can understand way more real life situations than when we give them credit for. So instead, we just teach them, math and addition and subtraction at the age of whatever, 6, 7, 8, and it's just silly. And it's, most kids, and some are brighter than others, but they can handle way more than you think. So
I think with the subjects you just listed, we could create a school. I agree with everything you're saying, especially about science only being necessary if someone wants to go down that road. The only course I would add in there would be like, I know Blake said public speaking and learning to talk, but like you and I have talked about this before, Boo, like just a communications course.
Yeah, English should be a part of that.
But like not like what my communications and my English classes were. Like, I don't know if you guys have interacted with any of like high schoolers lately or early college students.
We got one in the room right now.
I haven't really interacted a lot with Creamy Pepe. I don't know.
Because he doesn't do much interacting.
Well, the kids that I've interacted with lately that are in that age group, if you approach them, they struggle with eye contact. They seem really uncomfortable. They don't feel confident in a conversation. It's like nobody ever taught them how to like articulate or to what is it called when you're talking to somebody? Like if I'm talking to you, Cornbread, and I am enjoying it and I want to facilitate more conversation, I grab onto something that you had mentioned previously in the conversation, that you said you were reading a book, and the conversation kind of falls to a lull, and I say, so what books are you reading? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, like just the ability to have a conversation and be social and pick up on other people's social cues, like that would be a cool class. And so many people need that class, and what a skill that is. Like, it doesn't matter what you choose to do.
I think that comes from what I was going to say, add to it, is having different experiences. Like, so when I was at such a young age going to school, all I knew was my pawpaw's little farm. That's all I knew. And then when we moved away from there, I a whole different world, just 20 miles down the road with a whole different culture of people. You see what I'm saying? I remember we went turkey hunting, me and the boys. You might have been there too, Blake. Not long after you and Chad moved to y'all's place you live. And Chad was going to fly to Maine. And he's like, I'm about to leave for Maine. And me and Buck and Cooney was like, you about to leave now? Like, to go to Maine today? We just went turkey hunting. And the boys talked about that all the way home. Like, they had never talked to somebody that could turkey hunt of the morn and had planned the rest of their day to go do something else. Like, I think it would, and some people can't afford it, but up there where I live now, I think it would do a lot of those kids good to go drive through the ghetto in Atlanta, or just drive around the airport and see what that place is like, and to see those planes come in. Like, nobody knows how to talk to nobody, a lot of reasons, because all they know is that small circle they're in now. And these phones are killing kids. The PlayStations are killing them. And I think that's eliminating a lot of communication there. So I think gaining those experiences help you learn how to think, and just help you learn all together. When you go on a field trip at school, I'm sure a lot of them are great, but most of them are junk.
Yes.
The teachers are overwhelmed. They're doing a great job, but they got a million kids they got to watch. They got chaperones there that ain't really got time to help them. They're running through the zoo. Look at this monkey. Look at this. Now let's get on the bus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you could take a kid and like put them, somebody might laugh at me, but drive them through the ghetto in Atlanta and just stop and wave at some of those people and talk to them, be them black or white, and say, hey, this place really isn't as bad as what people make it out, or whoa, that is pretty bad right there. Look at that. That's a prostitute. Somebody might say, no, you don't tell a kid about it. Well, they're going to learn anyway. You know, you might have to pick the age, but nonetheless, give them all kind, because when they get out by themselves, Lord forbid something happened to their mom and dad and they're left alone, they'll end up homeless themselves. They ain't going to know how to do nothing, know how to communicate or talk with anybody.
Yeah. I think that's just getting experience. Even as an adult, I think I've said it many times, I think traveling is the best thing that a person can do to be able to experience different cultures. But I'll say one more thing, and maybe this is more on parenting than it is on homeschooling, but Kat is good at this and I'm not. But just letting the kids be wild and be kids. I like order, and I like things to be in place, and I like things clean. And I'm all the time telling them, clean up, pick this up, but she will just let them be kids. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are just like, your kids are too wild, or, you know, you go to somewhere and they're just all over the place, and that's fine. But I think that gives them there has to be some sort of regulation there, but I think that gives some of what Chad was talking about, of just freedom to be who they are, but also, you have to teach some sort of boundaries, but I think just allowing them to be kids does a lot for them at whatever age, and not just be, people will give them these phones and these tablets at every restaurant, every car ride, every this, every that, because they just want them to hush and be quiet. But a kid's going to be a kid, and that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it just gets on my nerves, and even Kat sometimes. But I think she's able to deal with it because she sees the value in it more than I just see. I'm tired of hearing it.
I'm gonna tell you, my mama used to let me rage.
Yeah.
If you would have seen my door of my room when I was a kid, it was beat to death. Because I'd go to my room and rage, son.
The fine line of that just in public is like learning respect for others. You know, like I think that's the line you walk. Is some of that when kids are going nuts and at home, but it's not really destructive or anything. It's like, well, you kind of just got to deal with that sometimes.
Yeah,
Let them
just
be
being
kids.
loud, laughing,
But then you
playing.
have to learn, I guess, basically where to rage.
Yeah.
You know, like
you got to let
that's
these
kind of the
jokers
rub.
have stick fights and fight and throw cups of doo doo at each other. And,
Well, you got to say, despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage.
I've thought about this because we have friends that are in a very wide range with their kids. Like we have Blake and Kat and a couple other friends whose kids are more kid-like and just wild and do, you know, they're just, I don't know how to do, it's not a bad thing. I mean, your kids listen. And then we have other people who their philosophy is their kids came into their lives, so they are going to be enjoyable to be around. And that, like, they get to be kids too, and they go on adventures, but they also have a time where, like, they act right, period. And I'm just, like, I don't know. I think it's different because we don't have kids, so my perspective is skewed. But I'm very curious about what you're saying, Blake, about, like, what it does for a kid's character to, like, let them run around and scream, which would drive me insane. Or not pick up everything they set down right when they set it down. Yeah. Or, like, I don't know. Or when you go out in public, like, you don't have to be silent and still.
I'll tell you what, them kids that come around me, that's all yes, sir, thank you, dressed up nice, don't act them kids are boring as crap to me. Them kids come around me like that. I don't like that. I like a kid to get rowdy every now and then. Somebody have to tell him, look now, you gonna quit that.
This is why he's left your mama's house early on Sundays. He said, I can't handle no more screaming kids. And he has to leave early.
I like that, though.
Oh, you like it?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Them kids come around me and all got a collared shirt on and crap. Get out of my face, son.
But what if the collared shirt thing, you're just trying to be funny.
I'm serious.
What if the kid is, because I was raised really strict. Like, I would argue I was the opposite. And I think I'm not even going to go there. What if the kid was able to fall into that? Like, what if they're adaptable? What if they have a switch where it's like, okay, now it's time to be wild and do all the crazy stuff you want to do. Go, you're free. But then they can also straighten up and know, all right, look, it's time for you to act right. And they take that seriously.
Yeah, I think most kids that are being parented well can do that.
Yeah. It takes maturity.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, just as they get older.
Yeah.
I'll drop some wisdom on you here real quick. Where no oxen are, the manger is clean, but much revenue comes by the strength of the ox. Proverbs 14:4.
Big.
I don't get it.
Where you ain't got no ox, your stable's going to be clean, but you got to have an ox with much revenue. Messes are necessary.
I see what you're saying.
That's an interesting translation of that.
Think about that.
Well, before we log off, I just wanted to tell the world that Creme Pepe ripped the front bumper off of his car.
No!
Yeah.
How?
He didn't like that, son. He didn't like that. He hit that.
What
I want to tell the
happened?
world he ripped the front bumper off his car.
Did you let him tell his dad
Creme
first
Pepe,
before you told the world?
Come here and tell the people what happened real quick. Come on, they want to know,
He
man.
says they don't need to know.
Okay, he won't tell y'all what he did.
Will you tell me what he did?
Boom, you
tell you
threw
when we
him
get
under the
offline.
bus, dude.
He's mad, boo.
I know we got super chats.
Creme
we
Pepe
got?
gonna beat the brakes off you, boy.
I just announced to the world that Creme Pepe ripped the front bumper off of his car, and he's really angry right now.
Whoa.
He hit one of these.
Why did you announce that?
I just felt like doing it.
You don't do that to kids, man.
Creme Pepe ain't no dang kid. That's a grown man right there.
He's a grown.
He can rip the daggone front bumper off his car if he wants to.
There's damage on the front and back of his car.
First day of work, he rear-ended Chili.
Are we super chatting or doing this?
Super chat.
Okay, I'm excited about this.
Well, it can kind of coincide.
I bet it can.
Yeah. We got Marty Bingham coming at $4.99.
Go
He said,
figure.
I have a squirrel recipe for Chad. Get a pencil. Step 1, get a squirrel and 2 rough-cut pine boards. And that's the end of that one. Then he come back in at $9.99. Step 2, strap the squirrel between the 2 boards and cook in the oven for 2 hours at 500 degrees. Step 3, throw away the meat and eat the boards.
Well, thank you, Marty. I got a package here.
Well, he come back in, $4.99.
Yep, 3. It's always 3.
But seriously, stop eating squirrels. They're nasty. Them things will puke a buzzard off a gut wagon.
You know, that's all we're eating this weekend at the Proving Grounds, a squirrel, right? I got a whole freezer full of squirrel. Marty sent me this in the mail here. Good night, son.
Oh, is that a shake weight?
Oh, it's so awesome.
For my lunch lady arms.
Look at that
I'll tell you what, Marty. You gonna be... These arms is gonna be tuned up
Put
by
that
next
down.
week.
Put that down.
Let Chili do that with an arm wrestler.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do it.
That's it right there.
Oh, yeah.
This is so awkward.
That hits your buys and your tries all in one motion.
Wow.
Shake weight.
How about that?
Shake weight.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Marty.
Nice right there.
Shake weight.
Untrue Lies come in at $5. Enjoy the squirrel hunting stories. Been a long-time squirrel hunter and hold an annual charity squirrel hunt to benefit local families in need.
Oh, wow. Where's it at, Untrue Lies?
He didn't allow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thank you
man.
for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Chris Jolly, $20, 7 hours into my road trip to Georgia. I got major back pain and road rage. I'm all hopped up on caffeine. Hal's been there. Ibuprofen and Bucky's Beaver Nuggets.
Oh my god.
Hey, Chris, you better settle down, Bubba.
I'll tell you, when Hal came to the proving ground,
Yeah,
he shook so bad I tried to hand him a pen. I couldn't even get it in his hand. He was
Yeah.
shaking.
He drinks too much coffee.
I had 2 hours to kill before I got there. I got there early, and then I was like, oh, I'll just drink a lot of coffee. By the time I got there, I probably had too much.
Like a gallon of
he had
coffee.
had
He
too
was like
much.
this.
Yeah,
Chad said, "What's wrong with that guy?"
I thought he had palsy.
We had Chris Jolly come back in at $20. I'm so glad you guys are finally on live. Tired of hearing myself sing, and I'm giving myself a headache. I'm also offended by what Spotify considers classic rock.
You just take it easy on that drive, Chris Jolly. Chili, you was double fisting that thing, son.
This is really how you do it. God, it's a workout.
Good night, son.
You couldn't do this more than about 5 minutes a day. 5-minute workout.
We had Tom Brannon come in at $20.
Thank you, Tom.
Yankee of the Year.
I tried acupuncture once last summer. My joints hurt so bad from Lyme disease. I needed relief. At first, the needles just added to my abject misery. But then, by golly, I started feeling better. Maybe psychosomatic.
So Tom's a proponent of acupuncture.
Sounds like it.
Well,
Y'all
you
talked about acupuncture?
with
About
you,
dry needling earlier.
with you.
Oh
It's
yeah.
the same thing. James Wright came in at the $1.99. He said, "Are we squirrel hunting tomorrow morning?"
You dang right we are. I don't know about cornbread, but Corn don't. Hal's gonna come with us. Corn, he don't hardly hunt much no more. Got too much going on.
Yeah, he don't show up for
No,
it.
he don't, man.
He won't. I've hunted more than him, and I don't even have no ownership
I
of
tell
that
you
dog.
what,
By golly, you ain't neither.
I have too.
Well,
By
yeah.
golly, you ain't neither.
Hey, don't even
Since
fight
he's
that.
got the
Blake. You
dog.
kill more squirrels.
Yeah, I've killed way more, and I've got to more trees
you
first
ain't,
too.
You ain't went but once, twice, counting today.
3 times.
When?
Scenic Drive, Chad's house, and this morning.
Scenic Drive, that place
That
is
is
garbage. Scenic
That
Drive
place is garbage.
Yeah. Garbage.
We had Tara Rowland come in at $100.
Good night.
She said, "Blake, thank you for pronouncing my name correctly every time. The podcast wasn't the same without you last week. And Chili, you were on fire last week. Haven't listened to this yet. Starting from the beginning now. Love you guys. God bless. I'm glad you're back, Brooke.
We are too.
Thank you,
We
Tara,
love
but
that
good
girl,
grief.
brother. We thank you, Tara.
$100.
Insane.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tara.
Get a shake for that.
My arm's looking good, Chili.
Buys and tries.
My arm's looking good, Bubba.
Glades Dan, 1999. We got a little extra. See y'all next week, pending a snowstorm or busted bicep. Good message. Thanks.
See you next week, Glades Dan.
Glades Dan, thank you.
Willie Jenkins is back at $10.
Oh, where you been, Willie?
Chili need to teach them boys about the trivium, dang grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Dang old teach yourself anything after that.
How about that?
Well, I'm talking
Thank you,
about.
Hank Hill.
That's Willie Jenkins.
Yeah.
Thank you, Willie Jenkins.
Due come in at $4.99.
Back again.
It's the same with a second language. They say at a young age is best time to learn them.
Yeah.
Why would life lessons be any different?
That's right, do. Thank you, man.
James Wright, 1999.
Good.
Oh, my
Not-
God.
No, $1.99.
I was about to say, James Wright, 1999. That didn't sound right.
Teach the kids Poppy's always right.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
Little Virgil, 99 cents.
LV.
It looks like a peeled banana. Ain't that what you was
Yeah,
talking about on
yeah.
the squirrel hunt?
Yeah, I knew he was gonna peel that banana.
Yeah. That will conclude our super chat.
Outstanding. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Lord willing, we'll see y'all on Monday meeting. Enough said.